Okay.
Jeff, so Casey's just doing some gap fitting at the moment, so we really love the fact that we're out here in the real world. We're on a golf course right now. He's going to do some gap fitting to the green a little longer down here, slowly move our way closer into the short game area.
And the problem with, I feel like sometimes that goes far on me. Like sometimes I'll just catch one with my pitching wedge and it will go really far, where that never happens with my 52 or my 56. I just feel like
those are always just consistent.
They're always consistent.
Okay.
Whereas I'll catch one with the pitching wedge, and it's more. I feel like it's more penalizing when you're that close to the green.
Absolutely.
To catch one.
Now, do you feel the same way that you do about the pitching wedge as you do with the 9-iron?
Not as much.
Not as much. Okay,
I mean,
so
probably more than like the further you get down the
bag.
bag.
So it's a lot more specific to that.
I think so.
Okay. All right. Let's go to that back left pin, the black one. Thank you, Corey.
You're good.
Oh. Let's see what happens to the flight. I just think if this is something new to you, it wouldn't be the worst thing for you to at least try it to see how it actually stands up against you trying to flight your wedges down lower.
Yeah.
Windier conditions. I'd be curious to see what this does on the course with turf interaction to get you to do that.
Yeah.
You know, since you've only really been used to playing the pitching wedge in the set, I think this would be a good change for you to at least experiment with.
I think I was hitting that better, or at least it felt like it.
Okay, now that pin on the really good strike, you got it back there. Yeah, you're right about pin high with that back left black pin. And from here it's 145. So you're pretty much spot on that number.
Okay.
So with your gap wedge, the 52 degree, 10 to 12 yards is usually typical, what we like to see the difference of.
Yeah.
4 to 6 degree loft separation is usually what we look for as well. So, I mean, somewhere around 135, 132 is that number for the gap?
Yeah.
Is that usually what you play yours at?
128 is usually specifically the number.
Okay.
So, can you say that again, what you're having him do? Sorry.
Oh, so he's on the steeper side, you know, divot taking and really good turf interaction already just naturally with his technique. So typically you like to see players in something with a little bit more bounce. At a 52 degree, I'm thinking 51 might solve that gap issue to just get it a little bit tighter. But instead of going with a 50 bent to 51, I would much rather go 50 bent to 51 because of the instance of what it does to the bounce. When you de-loft something, you start taking away from the bounce, which makes that leading edge even sharper. The bounce starts to get a little bit on the lower side. So if you go vice versa, if you go weak with something, you're essentially increasing the bounce of that golf club. So that's why I would much prefer it. Essentially adjusts it 1 degree of bounce as well, in whichever direction you chose to go. That last one.
Okay, so that's.
Okay. Are you good in that area?
Usually, I mean, I can put spin on the ball really easily. I feel like I to take spin off the ball this close, I usually just take less club. Take more club.
Take more club.
Yeah.
Take less loft.
Yeah, less loft.
Got it. Which is good. That's a good mentality to have.
Yeah.
So to basically either of these pins, have you gravitated towards using your sand wedge more?
Yeah. Yeah,
Would you
I might
use your-
even use my 60 here too. Just open it up even more and get it even higher.
Like maybe to this front pin?
Yeah.
But the back two, maybe more or less
Probably
the
a little more
sand wedge?
spin, more of a sand wedge.
Okay. With because the lob wedge and how you use it, it sounds like it's a little bit more specific when you actually are going to use it.
Right.
So let's save that one for last, and let's look at the sand wedges.
Okay.
Now, I might actually let me have that back.
Yeah.
We're going to do this in a blind way. Okay.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is get you the 56s. And the cool thing with SM8 is we didn't really change too much in terms of the grinds that were already there, but we did add something, which was always offered in the wedge work side of things, which isn't part of the inline spin milled series. But it was so popular there, and it's usually a good place for us to at least try something new to see how it worked in the marketplace. So we finally decided to add it there. So they're all 56 degrees.
Okay.
But what I want you to do is that we're going to mix these up. I don't want you to look at the bottom. No bias here at all.
Great.
So let's go to that back one.
Okay.
And whatever shot you're trying to play here, I'm assuming you want something to have a little bit of spin,
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Let's really focus on turf interaction, because all of them have that different bounce and grind. And whichever one just feels more smooth or more responsive, you know, in terms of what happens on the green. Is this similar turf to what you play off at home? Something a little bit more firm?
A little firmer, a little drier.
Yep. Okay. What were your thoughts so far on that?
I liked it. Yeah,
Not bad?
I didn't feel like it dug on me.
Good. Are you of what part of the club hits the ground first? Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, I'm thinking about the back of the club hitting the ball
This?
versus this.
Okay, this
Or
is
the ground first.
excellent. This is the trailing edge part.
I don't
Whenever-
want this to.
Right, because that's the part that digs. So if you start leading towards, you know, saturated turf, I would say focus even more heavily on the trailing edge, because that's the bounce, that's the forgiving part of the club. This is the precision part of the club. So if it's really firm, you know, maybe it's not quite as bad to use this, because you're not going to have as a tendency to dig as much. But using this to its fullest potential is how you would develop that spin. So that's good. I can already tell that by your technique, you're already doing it naturally. Okay, so here is number 3. Which is why you continuously kept digging it.
Yeah.
This one has the most bounce offered. Now, the reason why you're liking this one so much and you're spinning it the most is because you have a good utilization of the trailing edge. Now, when you use this part of the club properly, it's almost as if you search for more of the bounce to be present.
Yeah.
Which is why you're doing so well in the one that has the most bounce.
Wow.
Now, just to see what happens, try and take this one and open it up a little bit.
Okay.
Turn it into a 58 degree.
All right.
And maybe go to this front pin right here. This one may be a little inconsistent. Yeah, I feel more solid through the turf.
Yeah.
Sounded different too, right?
Yeah.
Hear that?
You really did.
Three. I'm assuming you like 2 better than 1?
Yep.
Okay.
This is a tough shot. I always do that too in real life.
So it felt a little different than how it felt back there off the tight stuff, right? Okay. Does that feel a little bit more fluid right away? Open up the club face a little bit more and swing down on it more. It's actually really good that it worked out this way, because this was number 5.
Okay.
This was the 6008M
Yeah.
on the lower side of the bounce, which is probably why it felt really good out of the tight stuff. You know, it shocks and awes you in one part of the course that you're going to succeed with.
Yeah.
But then you start taking it into something that's softer. Now that leading edge that's sharp starts to dig more.
Yeah.
So this is where something like this might be best of both worlds.
Right.
So with how well you hit that sand wedge, to me it was a no-brainer that you were going to do exceptionally well with the higher bounced options. Because even number 3 was the D grind. So that one had 12 degrees of bounce, which you liked over the other ones. And then I maxed you out at the 14, and it was like a no-brainer. Like I loved it. Yep. Okay, let's go hit some full shots. Maybe put some speed behind these two. Like, what's the furthest distance you think you'd carry your lob wedge?
90 yards.
90 yards.
Yeah.
Sea level probably 80.
Yeah.
80, something around there.
Yeah.
Okay. To 133 was the gap wedge. So with your sand wedge, we were looking for something closer to that 120.
115, 120.
115 to 120 yards. Okay. So we're gonna go S400. There we go. This is just to confirm that the feel of the S400, even in your wedges, is still going to be something that feels good and controllable and not whippy, not too firm. I mean, it was honestly like finding the perfect porridge for you back there.
Yeah.
You actually decided to go to your lob wedge?
Like around 100.
100 yards?
Yeah.
Okay. Take me to the back pin, this front left green.
Yeah.
Let's go to that back one. It's actually 97. So
Okay.